It's black and white. Yeah. Black and white. Oh. 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 It's black and white.
Hello there, my name is Lee, welcome back to another video, and welcome to Timetable Reviews. Now before I start, I need to make things clear that this is the Rickmansworth series. Now you might be thinking, why are you doing the Rickmansworth series, Lee? In the last episode you said you were getting rid of it. Well, I couldn't. After I recorded the video, something rather annoying happened. And that was the next bus running day that I was attending, show bus, had actually been cancelled. Now, I'm not able to do any more bus rallies this year until Chesham. So what I've chosen to do is continue the Rickmansworth series that I started all the way back in April. I haven't got that many titles left. And what I'm then going to do is I'm going to do another mini-series. I won't say what it is yet. But yeah, and two additional titles as well, to cover all the way to the Chesham bus running day in September 2025. So in this episode, it's another different one, as I'm going to merge two timetables once again. I've done this in the past in this series. So let's go to the table and let's see what timetable it is today. So here's the table, and here's the timetables. So these are the April 2010 and the June 2009 Buckinghamshire County Council guides for the Wycombe District Guide. There we go. So we're going to start with this one here. So if I just move that onto my bed temporarily. This is the June 2009 edition. And as you can see, as the name suggests, this is the it's got a map of Marlow and the Rainbow Network map. If you don't know Rainbow Network, there is another one. I've got another type of review. I think it's the next one actually, showcasing the Aylesbury services of the Rainbow Network from 2010. And the Rainbow Network, if you don't know, is a network of services that have coloured numbers that are coloured. So in High Wycombe, it was the red route, Route 33, blue route, Route 32. Orange route, routes 38 and 39, green route, route 31, and purple routes, routes 35 and 36. It showcases all the stuff in the guides before, and we've got ads as well. We've got ads about the Aviva services, which of course Aviva used to exist back then. Children Warriors ads, and ads for local companies. And then shows an index of services. And then we start with the first route, Route 1. The High Wycombe Bourne End route run by Carousel Bus. Carousel Bus, if you don't know, are the major operator nowadays in the High Wycombe area. They used to be the second one because it used to be Aviva. Route 1 used to be an every 20-minute service with one bus an hour via Woburn Green, with the other two being direct. Saturdays, they were half hourly with one bus an hour via Wycombe Green. No night buses though. And no Sunday service either. Next is Route 2, the Marlow service run by Carousel. Hourly service on this route. Then Route 3, which was a school bus from Penn or from Sir William Ramsay School up to High Wycombe. Then Route 4, the High Wycombe Chesham route, one of two routes to Chesham. Don't know why I'm not focusing. Carousel ran it all day, every 30 minutes, but in the evening it was contracted out. This was a situation where the route itself was actually run by another operator, and that operator was Redline. Now, Redline, if you don't know, of course, being Redline buses of Aylesbury, did it slightly differently because they went via Pentry, which might have on the two trips to Chesham and to the Pond Park estate. Saturdays was the same, and there was even the night buses as well. and Sunday service as well, which Red Line did run the last trips as well, even though they were slightly early in the day, because of course there was no point in running it during the evening on a Sunday. Next up, 12 and 13. Now, in a previous episode, we mentioned about the 12 and 13 run by Moths Travel. By then, the 12 and the 13 had actually been taken over by Ness International, aka now Ness Transport. The 12 is now what is the 113. The 12 and the 13 are now the 113, run by Ness, with one bus running on a Tuesday and a Thursday. However, on a Wednesday and a Friday, Ness ran the 15 bus from Chinner through to British and Aylesbury once a day in each direction. It will be a really useful link nowadays. It also mentions about the alternative transport services. Then Route 27, which is a route that we've not mentioned here before because this used to be the 327 run by A&A Travel. By then, A&A had ceased. So Carousel took it on, operating an hourly service, no longer to Flagway Heath, unfortunately. Also mentioned about how to get to the hospitals. Then the first of the Rainbow Networks, the Green Route, Route 31, which was a every 15-minute service from Downley to Penn. But in the evening, it was a split situation. It was split, running to High Wycombe only on both sections. Saturdays was basically the same, and on Sundays it was split all day, every hour each. But there was like a 40-minute connection from Downley. But on a Sunday, it ran all the way. Not sure why I was doing that, but oh well. Next up is the Blue Route. Blue Route 32. Which, as you can see, during the day, ran to Lane End every 30 minutes. Now, of course, Route 32, which does still exist, run by Carousel Bus, doesn't actually go to Lane End anymore. But Arriva used to run it so that it used to go to Lane End every half an hour. Saturdays was the same, and on Sundays, yeah, hourly service all the way from Lane End. Brilliant. Next up, Route 33, the Red Route, Castlefield to Topwich. Obviously, the 32 being Booker to Micklefield. This was every 12 minutes throughout the day, which is fantastic. And it was not split. Saturdays was the same. And a Sunday service was provided every 30 minutes. No doubt that it was hourly, because one of those buses now was actually a 34 which went via Huxley Rise rather than which came from Huxley Rise, not from Topwich. Next up, the Purple Route, routes 35 and 36. During the day, the 35-36, which were both hourly, 35 going via Wycombe, while the 36 goes via Amazon Wycombe College, were both operated by Carousel. However, in the evening after 7 o'clock, all journeys were provided by Arriva. And on Sundays, it was a full Arriva service, which ran hourly. Next up, Route 37, which is the Maidenhead route. Used to run every 20 minutes all the way to Bourne End, but only hourly to Maidenhead. Obviously, Carousel run this nowadays all the way to Windsor every hour. And there was I don't think there was a Sunday service on this route. No, there was not. Next up, routes 38, 39, which are the orange routes. These routes ran, well, the 39s were at half hourly, but what happened was that on one of the trips, he actually ran it as a 39 via the Southfield Road area, while the other trip ran as a 38D to Grove, which at the time was part of. Note though, on a Sunday, it was Route 34, which was part of the Red Route. It then shows the codes again. Then we got Route 40, nowadays run by Red Rose Travel, of course, but back then it was run by Arriva, operating an hourly service all the way from Tame to High Wycombe, and a 5 times a day Sunday service as far as Stoke-on-Trent. Next up, 4548. We've mentioned this route before. It used to be the old 345 service. However, by then Arriva had changed the numbers around. Route 45 was the main route. It was operating every hour throughout the day. 48 was a bus that just went via Hazelmere, while the 45 went via the Buckinghamshire New University Wellesbourne campus. On a Saturday and a Sunday, it operated. On a Saturday, it was hourly. Sundays was every 2 hours. I think it had something to do with that the bus was actually on the 40s as well. Next up, 52 and 62. 2 routes we've mentioned in the past. The 52 used to run all the way to Hemel Hempstead from High Wycombe, while the 62 was just a bus going via to Pond Park. And the bus also went via Stanley Hill. The 52 went via Station Road, even though it would make more sense for it to go via Station Road, but oh well. But unfortunately, there was a nightmare. There was night buses, but there was no Sunday service at all. That was provided by Carousel. Because on a Sunday, it was all 52s, 4 times a day, 2 hourly service. But the first bus from Amersham being at 9 minutes past 12, every 2 hours in the afternoon early to Hemel Hempstead from Amersham. You change there onto a Carousel bus. Next up, Route 74, a route we've mentioned so many times on this series because of its weird timetabling. It's run by 3 different operators. Monday to Saturday, it's operated by both Arriva and First Bus. First bus ran hourly. However, it left High Wycombe bus station 5 minutes before the Arriva bus and arrived into Slough about 11 minutes before the Arriva bus was due because Arriva put so much time in it. Same on Saturdays, but on Sundays it was 4 times a day. It was 2 hourly service, 5 times a day, 6 times a day. So run by Carousel bus because it was a contracted service. Next up, Park and Ride service, the 100 back then still. Every 15 minutes Park and Ride service, Monday to Saturday. No Sunday services, a lot of Park and Rides don't have that. Now, time for the weirdness. Route 104. This was operated by Red Rose, but it also shows the 643, 651, 339 buses, which were operated by Carousel Bus. But for this case, I'm only showing the 2 104 journeys, which ran as a circular service from High Wycombe to High Wycombe via West Wycombe, Wheeler End, Cantmore End, with the Ratnett, Ivestone, and I forget. Then it shows the hospital stop again. Then the 105, which was also run by Red Rose, and the 106, which was a different bus via Salterton. However, it also shows the 331 bus, which was run by Arriva at the time. But the 106 had also had a different operator. That operator, alongside Red Rose with the 106, Route 21 existed. However, that was operated by Tiger Line. Yes, that Tiger Line. Instead. Then the 125 Red Line running this at the time. I believe this was the last operator to run the route because the route got withdrawn a few months later. As you can see, the route itself, 3 times a day on a Thursday, run by Red Line. Used to be sent there. Then the Carousel Mainhead Marlow services, the 155, which was a Wednesday early route, a couple of times a day. Then the 158 was a bus that ran on a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday from Marlow to High Wycombe. Then the 157 was a school bus from Henley College to Stokenchurch. And then the 160 town bus in Marlow. Then the 275. The 275, if you don't know, has had a really hard time lately. A couple of episodes ago, we mentioned that it was run by Riva. However, 2 years later, the route had already been taken over by Red Rose. Now, Red Rose had changed it so that it ran 2 trips a day in the morning, 1 trip in the afternoon. It was ridiculous. Then the 300, a route that we've mentioned so many times on the series. It was every 20 minutes at the time from Aylesbury with the buses going to the ambulance station and the money in the evening. So I won't mention that route because obviously we'll be here all day otherwise. Next up, Route 305, a route we've mentioned so many times because this used to be a London country route. Of course, Uxbridge to High Wycombe. It was a 2-hourly service run by Riva with 1 bus a day run by Carousel. Next up, the 320. Now, the 320 is the Channel Rail Link shuttle bus. Was run by Carousel at the time, and as I record this, it's actually still run by them, even though it went to Red Line and Red Rose for a period. It only ran in the morning. It didn't run in the evening at that time. Next up, 333, 334. Now, this used to be Maggie Travel, of course, but by then it had been taken over by Riva as Maggie Travel had actually ceased. However, the school bus had a strange situation. It was not run by Arriva, it was run by Cape Coaches, who ran the first and last trips of the day, which was the school bus. Next up, 339, Lane End, Cressex High Wycombe, hourly service. Then the 377, 580. Now, as I said, Maggie Travel had kind of ceased by then because they only operated this route left. The 377 was a Tuesday, Friday only service that ran from Hazelmere up to Langmoor to Tesco via Beaconsfield. A couple of times a day. Then we've got the 737 National Express service, which had been taken over by at which time it was run by Stagecoach. Nowadays, the 737 is run by Oxford Bus Company. This ran every couple of times a day because being National Express, of course, what do you expect? This ran all the way from Gloucester Green Coach Station in Oxford through to Headington, Thornhill, High Wycombe, Hemel Hempstead, Luton Airport and Stansted Airport with a scheduled journey time of 3 hours and 10 minutes. Then the 800 and 850, which were both every half an hour each. Only 2 buses an hour went to Readingdoe. Then the A40, which was the Heathrow Airport bus from High Wycombe, hourly on that, run by Carousel. And then the M1, the last Moss travel ever to exist, Watling, Reading to Stokenchurch once a day in each direction. Then at the back, as you shows the map of the train services, and then 2 maps here of Flagway Heathbourne End services, and a map of the Northwest services in High Wycombe, which was really complicated at that time. And then at the back shows all the operators: Riva, Carousel First, Maggie Travel, National Express, Red Line, Red Rose, Tiger Line, Sandnes, Chiltern Railways, and the National Rails Inquiries. So that's the June 2009 guide. If I just get the other one, just give me a second. Here it is. I see a bit better, but this is a year later in April 2010. There we go. I won't mention it because not a lot of changes actually happened. But by then, as you can see, they changed the colouring of the map, which looks much, much better on the maps. We're still using the same company. It also mentions the Bassett line, which still exists back then. But by then, obviously, they lost the Cressex Express a couple of years ago. By then. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to mention routes that have changed. However, one thing we're going to need to mention is the 2A and 2C. Now, the 2, of course, was the Marlow service, but by then, that had been dropped Carousel now running an hourly circular service from High Wycombe to Paddington, Stoke and Church Lane in both directions instead. Then the 3 and the 5 this time. The 3 being from William Ramsey School to High Wycombe, while the 5 was to Desborough Avenue at the time. Then we've got Route 4 again, which I'm not going to mention. Bear in mind, by then the Red Line service had actually been withdrawn and replaced it by the 52. And then the 27 has still existed, of course. I won't mention obviously the colours again because we'll be here all day otherwise. Then with the 40 it gets rather complicated because by then they introduced the 340. This was a bus via Desborough Avenue, Sands, Lane End and up to Stoke and Church. So this ran hourly during the day. The 340 in the last days will actually be operated really badly. Obviously I won't mention the then we got the 52, which, as I said, the Red Line journeys had now been introduced on this instead rather than the 4. I think for some reason they changed that. I don't know why they did that. Then the 62, which the 62 had actually been extended by then. So it obviously used to travel up on Park, which it still did, but then it went to Ashley Green, Buckinghamshire, and up to North Church, which is now the 354 service run by Red Eagle. So we won't mention the 74, we'll be here all day otherwise. Again, Park Ride again. Then the 104, and the 105, and the 106. Which by then Tiger Line had also started the T3 service as well up to Princess Risborough. Then by then the 12 and 13 had been taken up, which had been taken over by SNS a year before, had been renumbered to the 113. Then we still got the Marlow services, which then the 275 still doing its weird things. Then the 300 again, which again we won't mention because we'll be all day otherwise. Now, I'll just get back to the page. You might have noticed a missing route. Where's the 305, Lee? The answer is it had finally been withdrawn. I'll get to what replaced it shortly. But firstly, another new route, the 306 Topless Drive service. It was a short route, once a day, in each direction by a Reaver. Then the 320 had been taken over by Red Line by then. And then 343, 344. Then the 346, a route we've mentioned in the London Country days. This route had been extended by then to High Wycombe. Used to terminate in Amersham, but it's now been extended all the way to High Wycombe. Then we still had the 377-580, 737 still existed, 740 next, and the 840. Now the 740 is now what became the 101 when John Hundred's network services started. This operated hourly from High Wycombe to Uxbridge only, not Heathrow Airport. But then there was a bus every half an hour to Heathrow Airport with the A30, which was a bus from Cheshire. Then the 800, 850. So basically the 740 just replaced the 305 by then. And then we got the M1 again and the T4S, which was a school bus by Tiger. But yeah, that was the guide. That was the April 2010. I really hope you enjoyed this episode of Timetable Reviews. If you do enjoy this stuff, please like, comment and subscribe. And until next time, goodbye.